Okay, well, Nancy, you know, they say mother knows best, but when it comes to the Saudi Aramco IPO, it looks like dad is the word. Reuters reporting here that the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman got a paternal push from his father, the Saudi king, to shelve it. So these are the latest reports from Reuters. The decision reportedly came after the king met with family members, business leaders, bankers, and senior oil executives who urged him not to go ahead. So the reason here, well, their main concern was that the IPO of Saudi Aramco could undermine the kingdom because it would require the full public disclosure and transparency of Aramco's closely guarded financial details. Either way, as you know, progress on the IPO was slowing. Commentators had grown sceptical on Aramco's self-imposed $2 trillion valuation, and the issue of where a potential secondary foreign listing could take place also caused delays. Again, Aramco's renewed focus on acquiring a stake in SABIC from the Public Investment Fund is now the latest distraction. Now, the shelving of the IPO could be seen as a significant blow to the Saudi Crown Prince Vision 2030 program, but it's also been suggested that the move to shelve the IPO signals that the king may also be keeping the substantial power of his 32-year-old crown prince in check. Energy Minister Khaled Al-Falih released a statement, remember, saying the government is still committed to conducting the IPO, but only at a time and place of the government's choosing. That means while MBS is brushing up on looking down and working on his roar, Hadley, it seems like the king still has the final say on exactly what happens in the kingdom.
That's absolutely right, Dan. It is a top-down society, and I think that's one of those things that folks in the West seem to forget upon occasion. I mean, last week, Nancy, I was sitting in London, came in especially for it. This all, of course, happening overnight, all of this conversation about the fact that they had released their advisors. There were questions over, payment of these folks, and of course, I was sitting in the middle of Swan Lake. But I have to say that none of this conversation is really that surprising. If you take a look back at the last several months in particular, yes, the oil minister has come out again and again, Khaled Al-Falih, including to me back in March, saying that we're getting things in place to make this happen, that the company is ready, that we're putting in place all of these measures within the stock market so that it'll be ready to handle this kind of an IPO. But there were also always questions surrounding not just the timing of this, but also in terms of where they would list, and also in terms of whether this was even really possible, this 5% stake, putting this onto the market, in terms of the clarity and of that investor strategy there. Because what would be the point of doing this if they didn't get it right? And I think that it's interesting to note that there just hasn't been that much of a reaction from the Saudi market in particular. I mean, this is, as I say, it's a top-down society. And as I said last week, I mean, this, in a way, given the price of oil right now, for the Saudis is a bit of a tempest in a teapot.
Yeah, and I do wonder, though, from an investor perspective, if, in fact, these sources that were cited in Reuters are saying one of the reasons here is they didn't want to have to open their books. Will that raise questions about just how willing Saudi Arabia is to go when it comes to opening up all a part of the 2030 vision, too, as we've been discussing? But we'll continue to follow the developments around this story.
Hey, everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now, to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.